Let's get chilly. Hello and welcome to Let's Chill, the official, unofficial Minnesota Wind Chill, Minnesota Strike podcast. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Kane.
And tonight we are joined by one of Minnesota Wind Chill's newest members, James Pollard. James, welcome to Minnesota. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me on.
I mean, it is cold over here. Are you in Philly right now, or where are you?
I am in Philly. It was the high was like 7 degrees today.
Jeez. Yeah, it's rough. And were you just at layout, did you say?
I was, yeah.
So coming from California back that's brutal.
Yeah, we had the 11 o'clock flight last night. So we got in at 7:30 this morning. So we just spent the day at the beach when it was 70 degrees and then landed and it was, I think it said 5 degrees, felt like -3.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's not much better. It's worse here, but not by too much. But you know that feels like temperature, as we know, is that wind chill talking.
Yep.
James, we're super pumped to have you on. We want to kind of get to know you tonight and let the fans get to know you a little bit. Why don't we just start with an easy one? How did you find your way onto the wind chill? We know you played a little bit with Dragon Thrust. I believe in 2023 you kind of were like a flex player. 2024 you joined Dragon Thrust a little bit more permanently. What brought you to Minnesota then?
Yeah, so 2023 played under Dragon Thrust at a Palk Pan American. And that was just random. I just posted on the looking for a team thread because I just wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jacob Leon reached out after a couple of weeks and asked if I wanted to play. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And then while there, jokingly talked about playing Dragon for 2024 just because it was really fun. And then, yeah, so joined Dragon for 2024 officially as a travel player. Went to 4 practices all season, all the tournaments. But at the end of the Phoenix season, the UFA season, Ben Feldman reached out about me going on an end of season loan because of some of the injuries with the chill. So I was asked if I was going to play the last 2 regular season games and playoffs, which would have been the New York game, the Empire game, and then I think it was Mechanics. But I would have had to miss the Phoenix's last game, which was the against Pittsburgh, which was also live streamed on ABC Sports Philadelphia for the first time. And
that's sweet. Yeah.
Ultimately, the Phoenix agreed to it and let me make the decision. I was like, I don't want to abandon my team. Like I committed to it. Yeah. So then I knew Ben was going to reach out at the end of the season, especially after I was also at championship weekend as an analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of thought about it. It was just like, have a little change for a season, see what happens.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like major respect too for sticking with the Phoenix. Like, retrospectively, like retroactively, you could be a champion, right? You could have that to your name, but like wanting to kind of see that season through, that's awesome. And especially that Thunderbirds game too is kind of a unique accolade in itself. So no, that's awesome. You're currently living in Philadelphia, and I apologize because I know you were just on live with Lep. We did watch that interview, and he asked, I swear, like all of the questions we were going to ask. So we're gonna try to not repeat everything, but we're gonna get some overlap for sure.
All good.
So do you have plans to move to Minneapolis like during the summer or in the spring, or are you gonna travel throughout the UFA season?
No, so I'm gonna travel preseason. Like I'll be at closed tryouts and then the first practice weekend the next week. The team retreat maybe a couple other times, but we'll be moving basically beginning of April, like April through the end of August. So I'll be there for the whole season.
Are you bunking up with a player, with a teammate?
No, it looks like I'm gonna be just renting an apartment myself.
Oh, gotcha.
Do a little studio.
Yeah. I say you could almost join up with Quinn Snyder. I think he bunks with Bevon actually.
Oh.
Which I've heard the cooking in that house is really good. I think when Quinn comes to town, um, I was talking to Bevon's girlfriend at the championship party, and she was like, "Yeah, we love having Quinn over." So it's like maybe just bunk up with everyone. That'd be fun little party.
Yeah.
Um, JK, and I'll let you guys jump in here. I'm taking over.
Yeah, I'm so first off, welcome to the Win Show. I just want to point out that I would have loved to have you on the Win Show for championship weekend playoffs. That would have been great, but I actually didn't know that you were offered a spot on the team. So that's news to me. I'm finding this out for the first
Mhm.
time. That's really fun to find out. Um, so it's good to see that you're bringing that loyalty and that commitment to your team, to the
Mhm.
Win Show, to Minnesota. What else are you expecting to kind of bring from your play style to Minnesota? Obviously, the East Division, the Phoenix, very different teams, very totally
Mhm.
different division. What are you hoping to bring in terms of play style, culture, all that?
Um, yeah, play style. I mean, I'm one of the best pullers in the league to add into probably the team with the other two best pullers in the league. So I think D line's going to be set. Um, just a big two-way option as a deep threat or big thrower too. I know the plan is to play defense, but you never know. That could change if I'm since I'll be there for basically the whole season. And then winning at least like 3 of the 4 end of quarters every time. Ain't no one beating me in that.
Heck yeah. We actually
100%.
we do have just real quick sneaking previewing our clip of you. It's not an end of quarter situation, but it's definitely it shows your play style very well. So
So you had
Yeah, as
mentioned
far as
how,
oh,
sorry, you had mentioned how you're coming in on the defense, but like historically you're pretty 50-50 on defense offense, not only last season, but just throughout your career. So do you anticipate playing offensive time or
um, has it been that long? Really 50-50? Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even think it was that much at this point. Yeah, because so I came into the league in 18, so 18, 19, first half of 21 was all defense, except the end of quarters. And then we were struggling in 21, so I got moved over in and out of OD depending on games and how the game was going. And then 22 is the first year that I fully played or fully played offense. And then this past year was kind of whatever was needed. So I don't know. I'm not really expecting to play offense just from my talks with Ben, but you never know. It could happen depending on win conditions, whatever. So, but expecting defense and just working off Cam Lacey with pulls.
yeah, I mean that's a gonna be a scary like defensive lineup seeing like you, Cam Lacey, Sam Berglund. Like it's just not fair at this point, you know. Like that's gonna be fun. And you add some height too, some size
Mm-hmm.
that the wind chill don't necessarily have. That's gonna
I
be
was
pretty
definitely going
sweet.
to bring that up too. The height and just the what you had mentioned earlier, James, with the dual threat, deep threat, uh,
Mm-hmm.
with your deep throws. I think that's not necessarily something that our defense has been lacking. I think our handling on defense has been very good. But I think that when Minnesota finds themselves in the deep space on defense, it feels like too much of a 50-50. And it
Mm-hmm.
feels like your presence on the D line will kind of boost up those 50-50s to make them more 60-40, maybe a little bit more beneficial in Minnesota's favor. So I think that your presence is going to be felt for sure on the D line here.
Yeah, definitely. And I prefer to push people deep too. And like, I very much want the throw to go up to go make the play.
Mhm.
So I kind of tend to bait those, which sometimes if you see like I get beat by some yards, but like most of the time I'm forcing them deep and hoping the throw just hangs up enough so I can go chase it down and go make the play.
Yeah.
honestly,
How tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". Okay. I say I don't know how tall Sam Berglund is, but I think he's probably the next tallest. Him or Will Brandt is like 6'1",
Yeah.
so nice. Jay, what were you gonna say?
I said talking about that baiting the deep throws and everything, I almost want to bring up the clip now.
I know we yeah, we're we got to save it for the finale, but we're doing a great job previewing. It's almost like we have watched clips of you and prepared. Okay, so preparation. What kind of prep are you doing this off season? Like, are you watching a bunch of clips of Central Division teams? Are you physically? I mean, like, I know you just went to layout. Like, are you in the gym every day? Like, what kind of prep do you like to do when it's not UFA season?
Yeah, so most of the time I'm going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. Lift days, summer sprint training days. While playing league, I'm in the Philly Area Disc Alliance leagues. I play on Thursdays and Sundays, which is a little rough right now because the Eagles play on Sunday and I have a game at 3 o'clock. But no, so it's like training, playing, watching when I get the urge to watch. I've already watched probably like 3 or 4 chalk talks from last year of like main offensive and defensive systems. So I'm gonna come in ready to go.
Okay, I do have a follow-up to that question, but you mentioned the Eagles playing. So you actually didn't you play what last week at their
Hmm.
halftime exhibition? Are you playing again, did you say?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay, okay.
I just have a winter league game during
Got
the
it. Oh,
start of
okay,
the game.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Nice.
Halftime
Yeah.
show at a playoff game would be crazy. That would be.
I
It was insane.
mean, yeah,
It was insane. It
the
was our
the
6th game that we had done a halftime show for.
Mhm.
whoa, that's cool. And I saw like the goggle vision. Like
Hmm.
that was such a sweet like on field view. That's cool. Yeah, I know the wind chill they've been trying to get back into US Bank Stadium, but they've kind of been
Yeah.
hitting a wall. But it's so cool people can do that. Okay, follow-up question to the preparation question. In the live with Lep, you mentioned you don't really know a lot about the personnel in the Central Division, and they don't really know you, and you kind of liked that. But are you working to change that? At least like knowing them, are you marking any players down in preparation, or you kind of just going into it?
Uh, both. I haven't watched that many games yet. I haven't gotten that I probably will before like tryouts. But no, just because like I've been in the East Division so long and like I know what those rosters are gonna be. Also, we're like friends with these people, so like we know conversations. So like last year, all of us knew Boxley wasn't playing for Breeze because of captaining truck and all the other stuff he was doing. So like I don't really know what rosters are gonna look like for these teams, especially with the announcements of people retiring, people leaving. So it's like it's almost not worth it for me to start watching these players yet, just because I don't know them and don't have the
Right.
interaction to have the inside scoop.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And it's kind of nice to like not maybe have a certain, preconceived notion and then
Mhm.
if they change something in their off season or something or right, something's different. You're not expecting it. So
Yeah.
All right, well, looking at that a little bit more big picture, are there any teams you're looking forward to playing?
Uh, Obviously Madison, especially in Madison. I was at championship weekend at pre-Stevens when Empire won. So definitely looking forward to that crowd, and I know that rivalry there. Um, Obviously Pittsburgh again, just to be fun to beat them with 2 teams.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, are you excited for Pittsburgh or are you not excited because you've already played them, but
I feel
Nah,
like
just excited with a different team.
yeah,
I feel like we're
yeah,
gonna have like a secret advantage now against Pittsburgh, like a little secret weapon for some reason, you
right.
know?
Circling
Right.
that date on the calendar.
So I might be wrong about this, but I'm actually pretty sure that you've never lost to a Central Division team. Like every time
Oh,
you've played Pittsburgh, Philly won.
Me personally, I have not lost.
Yeah, you
But
personally.
in 2021, when I had a partially torn PCL, we played in Pittsburgh. That was the second, I guess technically our third time I had played them because we played them in 2018, but like the second time of the official Commonwealth Cup, and they won in Pittsburgh. But I was on the sideline, but I was not specifically playing. So
mhm.
in games I've played, I have not lost to Pittsburgh.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, he's gonna bring an undefeated
Right.
season from Minnesota this year. Not gonna
I
lose
joke
us.
I jokingly talked about keeping the Commonwealth Cup from the Phoenix because I had it after the game. Just bring it with us whenever we play them.
Oh, that's mean.
Just rub it in a
That's
little
funny.
bit.
Yeah. Is there I lost my question here. Oh, I think we kind of already Kane already kind of asked this, but I was wondering like what the culture of the East Division is like. Are players like extra chirpy, or are there certain rivalries that like maybe in the East Division aren't seen in other divisions? I'm just curious, like kind of your background in the East and how, if that's gonna come over at all, or like are you bringing like extra fire? Maybe I don't know. I don't
Oh,
even know what I'm
absolutely.
asking. I just
No, absolutely. The East is very chirpy. And actually, I was thinking about this, having like played Dragon and like some of the players. Like we had players from Kansas City that were driving up, and it's like 6 hour drive for to get to practice.
yeah,
6 hours on the East Coast. That's DC. That's almost down to Raleigh. That's like 6.5 to their stadium. Like that's
jeez,
almost Boston. Like there's so many good teams. Like that's why you got people in Philly that go play in New York or DC that live here because it's so close. So
right,
yeah, we are like friends on the field, which means the trash talk is even higher. We're
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
But then that's also why, like, even if you look at the way the Phoenix was playing in our record, that we would be able to play up to like the New York and DC every year because we knew them so well.
right,
They knew us so well, and it's like we just. I still think the Phoenix the past few seasons were the one of, if not the top in like athleticism. We just lacked a little bit of like the skill. Just if you look at who we had putting out there, like myself, Greg Martin, like all these players, it was just like you can't guard us.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, I know this is kind of looking into the past, but this is still a significant part of your past. Is like, what was it behind like the hot birds and the cold birds, right? Like, I feel like on paper the Phoenix should have been so much better, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it just felt like they couldn't quite get over that hump sometimes. And then other times it was like that's the Phoenix who we've all expected to come out, you know?
I I don't know. It was frustrating. Like we had, especially because it was always slow at the start of the season. Like I
Mhm.
don't know what it was. Like, we'd always feel really good, and then that first game hit, and it was just like, wow, we suck.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing here? Like, why is this not working?
Right. Right. I mean, and then like I feel like you guys find your stride, and then like New York comes in and you play a good game, but it never amounts to a win. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's just it's tough when you play like maybe one of your best games and you still don't get
Mm-hmm.
that result that you want. It's kind of demoralizing, I'm sure, like time after time.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It really looks like, oh, we had them this time. Or it's like, oh, we went to overtime. It's like, and we were up. It's like, wow, we
Right.
really had them this time.
And it's like teams like that, I feel like are just it, maybe it'll be nice to just not have to worry about New York consistently, but or maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe you still want to get that win. Like I'm sure being the competitor that you are, you're like maybe not even satisfied that you didn't get, a chance to beat them. But
And that's what looking forward to. Like, we do well. We go back to championship weekend. Hope one of us, like a New Yorker, DC's there. So,
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep.
You'd also mentioned on Live with Lep about going back to Philly and playing with the Phoenix again.
mm-hmm.
So
So yeah, currently the plan is this is one summer
Mhm.
to play and then to come back. I really love the city of Philadelphia, the sports and whatnot here. I do not want to do the Midwest cold. I was born in St. Louis, so I know what those winters are
Yeah.
like, and especially after seeing messages from Mattis when he got back. I was like, yep, that confirms it. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. So do you think no matter what, it's gonna be the summer and then back to Philly?
Uh, that is the plan.
Yeah.
I'm in a 3 bedroom apartment that I'm renting now with my other two like best friends,
Mhm.
and currently looking for someone to move in for that time and then come back, and we're going to keep our place. So that's
Nice.
currently the plan, but you never know. That could change.
Yeah, if you get an extra pair of socks, maybe, and yeah.
Yeah, that's the factor. He just needs more socks. That's what's keeping him out of the Midwest.
I mean, hey, it works for me, you know.
I'll say my feet are kind of feeling a little chilly right now, so
You know, Chill Boys. Are we getting a Chill Boys sponsorship again this year? Maybe we can do socks this year.
Yeah, we should try. Okay, I think this is maybe a good time to get to the clip to break down with you. So Jay
I'm real
did some
curious what
good.
this is.
We so going back to our earlier conversation, this is the perfect clip of you playing against Pittsburgh, baiting the deep and forcing the turnover, and then looking deep, hucking it for a point. So it's like everything we just talked about. I'm gonna share my screen. We can go through it, but it was perfect. And I just kind of, as we go through it here, maybe we can just like watch it through once, and then if you want to kind of give your like breakdown, your analysis of what maybe what you were thinking on the field or what was going on. So for those watching at home and for everyone here, so James Pollard is right here, kind of in the middle of the screen ish. He's making an in cut. He's on defense right now. I slowed this down a little bit. So going to the top of the screen. See right there, you kind of look back at your person, but you still leave plenty of space. That's so sick, slow-mo. And then just long, like full field, sent it for the point. It wasn't quite for the point, but it was
We'll give it
just
to you.
just a glorious play.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if do you want to kind of talk us through maybe what you saw on the field at the time, or like we said, you're kind of baiting the deep as we were talking earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So I mean, obviously got to stop that like little up line. And with our defense, we were always flashing flat to like stop the continuation throw. So I think that's Paul Owens, I think. Or that's Campy with the sleeve on. I think it's Campy. But he did a good job of stopping the easy backhand. So I was able to just get up to speed and just kind of see through it like we'd have been able to make a play. But yeah, then they swung it the other way and was just, I mean, my guy's so far away. I don't mean that'd be a dumb throw to make.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the end zone set, most of the best teams run some sort of junky defensive set, like half zone, half person anyway. So
Yeah.
he was so far out the play that I was like, I'm gonna sit near the front to stop any of these cuts coming. And then I just checked back, especially when Max Shepard got the disc. He loves throwing those over the tops and all the crazy stuff. So I was like, I had a feeling. I actually kind of lost my guy. I knew he was like way on the back line.
Yeah.
And I thought the other guy was closer to me, which is why I went up the way I did. I didn't have a chance to turn and look, and then just came down with it. And then they left Max Triflith open going deep, and I was gonna throw it.
Yeah.
People always say they like my flick huck when I throw it, but I'm better at throwing backhand. So if you jump the flick, the backhand will come up, which is kind of what happened. I was like, he's so open, I need to throw, and he just sold out for it. So I just needed to put it high out to space, and he finished the play.
Yeah. And like for me, when I first watched it, because Jay found this clip, you kind of mentioned it. I thought you weren't even exactly baiting the deep, but you were. It took me a couple times to watch. Like you were kind of looking back a little bit, but then you kind of said too, you maybe misjudged how far he was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was more, in this instance, it was less baiting and more just playing help defense because he's so far out the play that he's not really an option.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure like we're communicating in the back with myself, Eric Whitmer, who's in the like top right of the middle of the end zone.
Yeah.
And where he's just kind of like, all right, backing up. And we're just kind of loosely communicating to each other. So we were
Right.
kind of locked in with each other.
As I say, because once they swing it over to Max Shepard here, like maybe you had this space covered. You probably looks like you had a lot of this space covered, but yeah, he's pretty open in the back, and Max like he could put it there, but he didn't. Like he kind of hesitates there, and well, maybe not
So
even
it
so much, but
so that clip it changes angles at like the worst times. So like right
right.
before it zooms in on Max, I'm actually peeking. I'm actually looking back at my defender because
Okay,
I know
yeah,
he'll throw it, which is why I start. So he initially pumps it, so I start moving back a little bit, and then he
I was gonna say, yeah, on
decides
the
to throw the
swing pass,
hammer.
I'm sure you're peeking over. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
And you can actually see right as it cuts back to that wide shot that he is running back, like James is running back
yes, yeah,
towards the end zone already. So,
yeah. At
and
the
you sort
start, he was like more closer to the front of the end zone. So
yeah. James, you sort of alluded to this a little bit, saying that, Max likes those overhead throws, but how much of who's handling the disc, how much does that impact what you're doing on defense?
oh, so much. I mean, you got to know who the throwers are and what they like to throw. Like for us, we know Shep loves to throw hucks and basically anything.
mhm.
So a lot of our game plan is kind of we usually put like Eric Whitmer or someone on Shep that can just run with him and has a great motor that can contain him deep, put enough pressure on him when he has the disc, and we match up better other places because we know he's gonna throw. And honestly, a lot of it is we want him throwing a lot of hucks. I mean, if
Yeah,
he's on, he's one of the best throwers in the league, but there's times where he'll have 5 or 6 turns in one game. Plus, I mean, they kind of need him too. They've done better more recent years without him, and when he's calmed down a little bit. So it's just kind of takes a major part into it.
yeah. And then that like crazy jump, like your back is like you're bent halfway over and
Yeah, like
make
we didn't even react to the athleticism of the play.
the
We were
pure
all like, oh
athleticism.
yes, let's look at the analyzation of how he's watching the disc path, and then he does this just like ridiculous OBJ over.
Crazy.
Just
Yeah,
okay,
like you can't teach that, you know?
exactly. I there's two things that I talk about because I play defense on my college team, which is D3. So little something on
Yep.
my stat sheet there. But whenever I talk about defense, you really can't teach field awareness, especially with frisbee, because the way a frisbee flies is so unique compared to a football or a basketball. Like
Yeah.
it's a very unique flight path. And so just the field awareness is super hard to teach, and you can't teach height. And both of those
Yes.
things on defense do wonders. And it's great
Yep.
to see that you're bringing both of those in spades. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. A lot of it comes from tennis, the field awareness, which a lot of people don't realize if they haven't played. Um, the reason that you rally cross court like your forehand to forehand is the net's lower in the middle. Because the middle of the net is the lowest part, so it's the
Mhm.
easiest to get the ball over. But one thing you do, knowing that, is instead of hitting the ball and recovering all the way to the middle, you recover caddy corner based on the easiest shot. So if I hit from the deuce side back to their deuce side, their easiest shot is going to be back to the deuce side. So I'll recover slightly off center, staying on that side.
Right.
Because if they go down the line, the net's higher, which means they have to hit more likely up on the ball, which gives me time to get over there. So you put
Whoa.
that on
Yeah, it's
like
like
a field. You put that
yeah.
on the field. It's like I don't need to be standing next to him if the disc is all the way on the other side of the field.
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you're playing chess out there.
I was
No,
playing
that makes
tennis.
sense
That's really
though.
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I did just watch Challengers for the first time over the weekend.
Nice.
It was a good movie. Okay, that actually reminds me. I did want to ask you about your extracurriculars. I know you talked a little bit with Evan Lepler about your tennis career. We will skip over that because I'm more interested in your bowling career. Tell us more about. Are you in a bowling league currently, or you used to be?
Yeah, currently just off season because we usually play on Wednesday nights.
Nice.
We just wrapped up. I was at a league when I did my live with Lep. I went upstairs to the office. um, no, it's just like fun thing we do with my friends. One of my uncles bowls a lot, so always did it kind of as a family, and then just got more and more into it as I got older. Have my own balls and stuff, and more recently, like in Philly, like the last few years, we've been doing a league and just having fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's like your average score?
I want to say I'm like 183, 185 right now.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if I break 100, I'm like, all
I was
right.
gonna say, I think I got 96 one time when I went. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Fun fact: when I was a senior in high school, so I'm a writer by trade,
Mhm.
and one of the ways I discovered my passion for writing was wanted to go into journalism. And so when I was a senior in high school, the varsity bowling team at our high school went to state. And so I did like a whole news report and I wrote up this whole news article for the state championship for Coon Rapids High School bowling. And it got published in our local newspaper. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm a published writer at like 17.
Love it.
And I went to a bowling championship. It was so unique and it was super fun. It's definitely not something I can do, but it was very fun watching. um, okay, Jay and Kane, do you guys have anything else before I get to? We have some fan submitted questions.
Let's get to it.
Okay. I don't usually read who wrote these because they don't really matter. But if you ever want to know, this is not anonymous, so we can definitely share the names. Somebody asked, "What is your pregame ritual?"
Whoa. I just kind of chill the day of.
Mhm.
So if it's a Saturday game at say 6, like just chilling, watching stuff. If it was Philly, my parents would come to games, so sometimes do like a early meal at like 10:30. And that's usually the bigger meal, and then something later on because you're getting to the field 2 hours, 2.5 hours before game, like so it's tough.
Yeah.
But then yeah, once I get to the field, I'm usually like always the first one there for my team. So like I'm usually I get there early, help out if they need it. Go change in the locker room, come out, warm up. Now with having arthritis in my knee, like I usually start my warm up a little bit before the team so I can hit the trainer and be ready to go come the first drill. Got my music going. I have a pregame playlist. A lot of rap gets me angry. So you kind of you'll see if you like know me off the field versus like always like there's a massive switch.
Like don't mess with James when he has a frisbee in his hand. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, off the field, quiet, shy, don't really
Yeah.
talk to people, but then on the field is the exact opposite.
What kind of rap do you like?
Oh, I mean, Not Like Us is Kendrick Lamar is definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's honestly just various songs. Like got Flag Surfing on there. Um, What's Poppin' by Jack Harlow.
Nice.
I got some like sports motivational things on there too.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's like a classic like pump up mix.
Yep.
Okay, here's one from someone else. We said, are there any players on the wind chill who you're excited to play with, who you haven't played with before?
Does Justin Burnett count? Even though we played at the UFA camp? Can I get that answer?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, probably Justin, just because like we did the UFA camp together, and like I think we talked about then that he was potentially moving, so maybe that came up, but I had no intentions of it. So it was just hanging out, having a good time, playing spicy Uno, which y'all not ready for. There might be some fights. It's chaos.
Noted.
But yeah, I mean, he was just great. I mean, he was just so fun. I mean, he's an insane player. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, we're super excited. We're trying to get him on to preview for the next episode. That's gonna be a
Justin
great
Burnett. If you're listening to this, we'd love to have you on the podcast sometime.
Beat me to it, Ken.
I had to get it in
there. Here's an interesting one. Why choose Minnesota versus another East Coast team that's closer to Philly? Like you were already kind of talking about earlier.
Honestly, because of the whole dragon and then Ben asking,
Mm.
I had no intentions of leaving Philly or leaving Phoenix. I really didn't want to go play in New York.
Yeah.
DC, I love that, but like they know I'm not coming down there, so like teams aren't even asking me if I want to go. But like we're so close, it's like so it just like wasn't even because they also know how much I do. What Phoenix ran 26-week long youth camps last year in 20 weeks because there were a couple weeks where we had multiple. So I was also dipping out some of the weeks where I was at the UFA camps. We had camps, but yeah, no. So we do a lot of youth programming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I do want to come back to that because I know Minnesota does a lot too. And if I'm not mistaken, did you already participate in a Minnesota clinic?
I have not. I've signed up for
Okay.
the summer camps and might help out one of the high schools or something
Okay.
when I get
Maybe
there.
you had like shared something or I don't know. I
Yeah.
associated you with something, but yeah, maybe you just shared it. But I do want to come back to that. Our last viewer submitted question was maybe you want to know who this is. I don't know. Who is the best camper you had at Cascades Camp? That's all.
I have a couple options who I think that is. Oh, who did it? Oh, I want to say Alden. I think what's his name. I think I gave him a disc at the end of the camp. I believe that's who I gave. I gave away like a signed Phoenix disc. I brought some stuff with me.
Nice.
I think it was Alden. I think that's who I gave it to. Yeah.
Do you want to know who asked it?
I am curious who asked it.
It was Alden. So maybe you got it right.
Yep.
was Cascades Camp one of those the youth programs? Was that at Seattle Cascades or?
So that was
Oh,
the Seattle Cascades Tempest camp in partnership with UFA.
right.
So I was the UFA rep with and then Nora Landry was the women match
Nice.
player that was up there.
Cool. So, okay, that's a good my last question, maybe not. I don't know. So you are as we know very active in the UFA. You're an inclusion initiative member. You participate a lot with youth programs. What is kind of maybe your mindset behind like being as involved as you are, especially with youth and just like with the community at large?
I just enjoy giving back. I mean, I've been playing sports my whole life. Like growing up was playing baseball, basketball, soccer. Basically all year round. My summers were going to different sports camps. So whatever sport I was in, and some of the best modes were like a good coach. I've gotta actually have it above my window in my room. It says a good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of how it felt, and I have a picture of one of my tennis coaches on my desk too. That meant a lot to me. So just
Yeah.
always wanted to coach when whatever I was doing. At some point, I did some coaching in high school with tennis and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that quote too. That definitely resonates. At least I'm sure with the other two as well because we definitely grew up with all kinds of coaches, good and bad. I actually coached Kane in baseball, so I was probably his best coach, right?
Something like that, yeah. Better than Dad was when he was my coach, that's for sure.
It's okay to say because Dad doesn't listen, so to the pod.
True. Hi, Mom.
Cool. Well, that's all. That's everything on my list. Jay, Kane, again, last chance. Anything else for James?
I don't think so. Just
Yeah.
very excited to see you in Minnesota this year.
Yeah, we're pumped. What number are you gonna wear?
Oh, 17.
Okay.
It was like the first question I asked.
What's the significance behind the number?
Yeah.
It's actually really funny. No significance really. I just like the way it looks. When I used to play like Madden, 2K, and FIFA, we'd always just do what age I was that year for the back of my created player, and then I just really liked the way 17 looked with Pollard, and just when I started playing Ultimate, I was like, I want 17.
That is the best answer.
Yeah, that is a really good answer.
Meanwhile, like Brandon Mattis, his 61 is like Highway 61 going down to Winona, like a super
Yeah.
meaningful
Got like super
location.
symbolic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, 17 looked cool. So, you know.
That's awesome. James, any questions for us? Anything else that you want to share before we part ways?
I don't know. No, I'm just excited to be out there. I'm excited for the new opportunity, new season.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll hopefully catch you at a post-game interview at least once this season. So that'll be awesome.
Definitely.
But okay. Well, if that's all, I think we'll say goodbye. And for our listeners and viewers, stay tuned for the rest of the season. This is just the first episode of 2025, and we're really excited to see where the season will go. And in the meantime, stay chilly.
Stay
Stay
chilly.
chilly.